Warning, warning. This is a global ice out. Testing the right speaker. Right. Testing the left speaker. Left. Sound successfully recovered. Swan Commander. Connected. And now, the countdown has begun. And now, are you ready for a journey that goes beyond the norms? The Federal Prospects Hockey League just celebrated its 15th anniversary. With a footprint and fan base rapidly expanding, Swan Hockey is now bringing you behind the scenes. Beyond what you see at games. Beyond the arenas. Beyond the crowds. This is FPHL, Beyond the Glass.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of FPHL Beyond the Glass, the official podcast of the Federal Prospects Hockey League. I'm your host, Eric Swanick, Swan Commander on social media. We've got a really cool, different episode for you this week. Before we dive into this, we have reconfigured. We had a big update to the Discord server. So anybody that's participating in the Discord, check it out. You will now, we basically streamlined everything, made it more, only the stuff that you guys want to see. So I'm sure a lot of you guys know by now, but Swan Hockey, I do a lot of work in junior hockey, and now the Discord has two paths to it. One path being the FPHL Beyond the Glass, and you select that path, it'll unlock the channels that you guys want to experience. So it'll keep a streamlined experience for you guys. So check that out. Remember, the conversation always continues in the Discord. And so this episode, we're going to be joined by Dave Jackson. We're going to go over suspensions as usual, and hopefully learn a few things there. And then we're going to be joined by Tyler Gjurich, the all-time leading goal scorer for the FPHL. We're going to catch up with Tyler, see how he's doing in life after the Fed, and talk to him a bit. There we go. And let's rip it. What's going on, Dave? How are you this week?
Eric, how you doing?
Doing great. How was hockey last night?
Hockey last night was good. We played we were down 5-2 with about 8 minutes to go, and we managed to tie it up 5-all. 3-person shootout. It didn't change the results, so we ended in a 5-5 tie. But moral victory coming back from 5-2. And I tell you what, it's 2 nights in a row I played hockey, and at my age, I tell you what, my back and my legs, they're actually feeling it. So I feel for these pro players that play back-to-back games.
That's funny. What's it like? So being a NHL veteran referee, what's that like playing these games and maybe getting some bad calls against you or for you or whatnot? What's that dynamic like?
Well, it's funny. The guys that do our games, so it's beer league hockey. We didn't drop the puck till almost midnight last night. So I give anybody credit that's willing to come out at that time of night and referee a bunch of old men. But most of them, I mean, they all know my backstory and what I do and everything. So I think sometimes they might up their game, make sure that they make the right calls and all that. And I usually give them advice before the game starts. I say, hey, don't screw up. Don't screw this game up tonight, man. But by and large, I mean, these guys, our league's not very intense. There's not a whole lot of penalties, but every now and then you get a guy that we refer to a guy as like a game 7 type player. It's just like, dude, stop skating through the wall. It's men's beer league hockey at midnight. Like, just settle down a little bit. And they do a good job of recognizing when guys are, playing over the edge, and make the calls. And of course, there's gonna be bad calls. I mean, we came back from 5-2. We were up 5-4. We were down 5-4, and we get a penalty called on us with 2 minutes to go in the game, which I kind of thought the guy fell, but he crashed into the boards, and the referee did what he had to do, and I support the kid. I mean, you call what you thought you saw, and it was so we scored shorthanded and tied the game, so it all worked out.
Yeah. They ever kind of give you a look like to kind of see your reaction before they make a decision? Like you ever catch them doing that?
No, I don't think so because
No.
I don't think they really care all that much about what I think. Um, you know, I've been called a couple of times for penalties, and I certainly don't. I really don't play over the edge unless someone cheap shots me, and then probably I get a little bit high strung then. But for the
Then we'll
most,
need the video review.
yeah, exactly. But I mean, like for the most part, I'm just old and slow, so I get called for hooking every now and then, or a desperation reach on a breakaway or whatever. And I got one called last week where I saved a goal. The guy had a breakaway basically. I got in and I got his hands and twisted his hands, and he lost the puck. I thought it might have been a penalty shot, but they called hooking on me. And on the way to the box, I was just
Yeah, it's
kind
a
of
good
like,
penalty.
I kind of deadpan the referee. I go, "Are you sure? Are you sure I got him?" And the referee's looking at me like, "Yeah, I'm pretty sure."
That's
So,
funny.
but we
That's
killed off the
awesome.
penalties, so
Yeah.
it was a good decision of mine to save the goal.
Yeah. Good. Yeah. Good penalty. Well,
And I tell you what, I played a hell of a game too. I had about uh, for me, I had like a game high of probably like 8 shots on goal. I played defense because why not? I mean,
yeah. You want to score the goals.
I've always
Yeah.
played forward, but I play defense just because everyone wants to play forward, and I'm probably one of the slowest on the team. So I don't
Oh,
take
I
a
thought
lot
you
of
said you
chances.
played offense. You played defense.
No,
Okay.
I played defense, and but I had like 8 shots on goal. And tell you what, this goaler we played against, he had a fantastic chest. Like right here, you could not get it by his chest. And I hit him there 8 times, and I kept thinking that, you know what? Maybe the next time if I hit him hard enough in the chest, it's going to go in. But he was
Yeah, I
just a
got you
rock.
ducks.
He was just a rock. He just kept stopping my shots that hit him in the chest. And I should probably get out with a shooter tutor and start working on my aim.
I love it. I love it. Well, let's dive into it. Suspensions this weekend. A little busy. Something we have at least one repeat of last week, right?
Yep.
Let's dive into it.
Yeah. So it was a good weekend of hockey. I mean, we had what 10, 11, 12 games, and we had three suspensions. And sorry, we had two suspensions. We had three reviews. And the first one was Friday night. We had an instigator in the last 5 minutes of play. So in the rule book, instigator last 5 minutes of play is an automatic game misconduct. And the referees made the right call. It was an instigator. What some people fail to realize is just because it's an automatic game misconduct does not mean it's an automatic suspension. And the reason this rule was brought in, it was brought in the NHL first. They were the ones that started it. Is you didn't want somebody with less than 5 to go in the game deciding I got nothing to lose. I'm going to get a 5-minute major anyways. I'm going
Right.
to jump somebody as retribution for something that happened earlier in the game. Settling of scores. This guy bumped our goalie in the first period, so now I'm going to jump him. I got nothing to lose. Maybe last game there was bad blood, and I got nothing to lose. I'm going to jump him in the last 5. So if 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 you're an instigator in the last 5 minutes of play, and it's for anything other than the play that actually happens during that time, I'm going to suspend you. But
Okay.
if you get an instigator on an organic play, so this was a play. There was a cross check at the net. There was a scrum, and a guy came in and challenged him. That's not settling of scores. That's not retribution for earlier in the game. That's something that happened right then, right there in the moment. That's not a suspension. That's
Okay.
you tossed out of the game. Doesn't really matter. You're getting 5 anyways, and you're back the next night. So I've been consistent with that. Um, if it's an organic instigator, if you instigate a fight based on what actually happens in the moment, then it's the same as a regular instigator. It's you get the extra. A team got a 2-minute power play out of it, and it's play on. The only time we're going to get suspended is if it's I've had guys go out in the last 5 minutes and they just follow a guy around the ice and totally unprovoked, they jump him.
Yeah, like a
And
premeditated,
yeah,
just that
and I mean, if the guy
extracurricular
doesn't fight
going
back,
out.
you're probably going to get an aggressor penalty and you'll be suspended for a game for that. But if the other guy fights back and you just end up starting the fight and it was an unprovoked fight, then I'm going to suspend you because it's the last 5 minutes of the game and it had nothing to do with what was going on at the time. So that's the difference there.
Okay.
Um, the other one we had, which we had last week, we spoke about, was a match penalty for Slewfoot. And as I explained to the listeners last week, is I like to categorize a slew foot as there has to be an intentional force applied to the upper body in conjunction with sweeping the leg. So, either the player, they're near the boards or they're battling for a puck. He either puts his elbow on the guy's chest or he puts his arm across the guy's chest, pushes backwards on the guy's chest as you kick his feet out. That's a slew foot. Having said that, if you just stick your skate out and trip somebody, especially from behind, that's a tripping penalty. And the reason I make that distinction is that it can be 2 minutes. So if you just, you're going in the corner and you just kind of stick your foot out real quick and the guy falls down backwards, the first thing people yell is they yell slew foot. Slew foot. They're up in arms. Slew foot. That's a match penalty. It's not. It's a 2-minute minor for tripping. You didn't apply any upper body force. You just stuck your foot out and tripped them. Now, where it elevates is if it's really intentional, and a lot of times you sweep both feet out, guy goes down hard, and that's what happened in the game Friday night, or was it Saturday night? I lose track of these days, but player was knocked a little bit off balance, and as he's trying to sort of regain his balance, he's right behind the puck carrier. He reaches out and he sweeps that foot and takes out both the players' skates from behind, and the guy goes down really hard, and he stayed down and left the game. That's a match penalty, but it's not slew foot. It's a match penalty for tripping. Attempt to injure, match penalty for tripping. That's what I assessed, and he got 2 games. And it's the same as I called the weekend before. We called match penalty for tripping. Player got 2 games. So I'm consistent on that one.
Yeah. Okay. So the slew foot is an automatic match penalty, and the tripping could be a minor or a match at the ref's discretion based
Correct.
on the play.
Correct. Or if the guy doesn't have the puck, it could be a 5-minute major for interference.
Okay.
So you have a lot of options when it comes to that. But I just hate how everybody automatically yells the word slew foot, slew foot, slew foot. Not every trip with the skate is a slew foot. And I think it's really important that people realize that, because the rule book calls for a match penalty, automatic for a slew foot. So every slew foot is a match, but every trip is not a slew foot, if that makes sense.
And
yeah,
right. Yep. Yeah. Awesome. Is that it on the suspensions?
No, we had one more. We had one more during a stoppage play. We had I think it was a commercial stoppage, media timeout.
Okay.
And we had a player from the bench reaching over and poking a player with his stick. So to call a match or a major for spearing, in my opinion, there has to be some intent to spear the player. And we all know, we've all played the game. You try and spear somebody, you're trying to hurt the player.
Yeah, there's a difference between a spear and a poke.
A spear and a poke. But a poke used to be called 2 minutes for slashing because we weren't allowed to call a double minor. There had to be, to call a double minor for spearing, it had to be an attempted spear with no contact.
Okay.
Myself and Paul Jean, we rewrote the rule. The Board of Governors and the coaches all agreed to it. Is we said, why would we handcuff the referees and not allow them to call 4 when there is contact? Because what we usually do when there's contact and it's a poke, nobody's calling a match penalty because it's not worth a match penalty.
Right.
So since we were handcuffed, what would we default to? We default to 2 for slashing.
Okay.
Right. And the guy would say, yeah, but he didn't slash me. He poked me with the tip of the stick. I go, I know, but we can't call 4. It doesn't allow the rule book. So I said, why don't we call it what it is? If I poke a guy with my stick in the gut and it's not an attempt to injure, let's give him 4 minutes. Let's call it spearing.
Yeah.
And everybody went, wow, light bulb went on. Said, yeah, let's do that. Like, why not? Let's call it what it is. It wasn't an attempt to injure, but it was more than a slash.
Right.
So this player from the player's bench was reaching over with his stick and he poked the other opposing player in the gut like 2 or 3 times. And the referees, they called the match penalty. And I guess this player really was trying to, stir up some emotion, some controversy. And that was kind of his motivation, that he wanted to get things going. And the referees felt that, well, you don't deserve to be in it. It was third period. He didn't want to be in the game anymore. So they got rid of him. And we talked. And after our conversation, we kind of came up with, yeah, it probably should have been a double minor for spearing. But the fact that it came from the player's bench, when you're on the player's bench, you have no business touching anybody who's on the ice.
Yeah.
And there was some verbal stuff going on and everything. So we talked about it and we said, so I rescinded the match penalty. But I said the fact that it was from the bench and the fact that he was trying to stir up crap, it got the other team upset. I go, it's a game misconduct. Game misconduct for inciting. You're doing stuff that's not part of the game. It's not a hockey play. So, you know, we're going to call it a game misconduct and you're going to get a 1-game suspension for it versus you probably get a 2-game for a match penalty. It wasn't a match. It was just he was being a general nuisance. And sometimes there's just no room for that. And I support the referees wanting to get rid of this player in that situation. I just needed to recategorize it a bit and say, you know what, we could have probably handled it different. So it's a learning moment for everybody involved. And then the referees were like, you know what, we didn't think of that. Sometimes, especially the difference between doing a lot of minor hockey and college hockey versus doing pro hockey is because of the sheer amount of officials, especially minor hockey, they make the rule book pretty black and white because you can't, you've got thousands of officials and you don't want guys sort of doing their own thing. When it comes to pro hockey and you have your own league, we've only got a handful of referees. We tell these referees, you have a wide array of tools in that toolbox and you can do what you think is right. As long as the rules support it, rules are gray and, they're not black and white. The rules are gray.
Right.
And there's even a line in the rule book that talks about the referees have extremely wide latitude in meting out justice and degree of guilt. So there's lots of ways to get rid of a player who's not conforming and not doing what you ask, who is being a nuisance and causing you trouble. And so it's just a learning moment for the referees involved. It's that, you guys could have done this. You would have accomplished the same thing. It just would have been categorized differently. And that's what we ended up doing.
Yeah. Yeah. Just cleans everything up. Well, yeah,
Totally.
That's awesome. And I have something else I want to ask you. I'm going to save it for next week. But I have something interesting that happened this week in an NHL game that I want to ask you about. So
Okay.
we'll bring it up next week and we'll be right back at it next week.
Right on.
So, all right. Thank you, Dave. I'll see you next week.
All right. Okay.
Thanks. Hey guys, our new merch drop is live now on SH360. Visit 360.swanhockey.com and you can access it now. Once an item is gone, it may never return. You can also check the time capsule for older items. All SH360 purchases have season pass points attached. Just make sure that you use the same email address on SH360 as you do for Swan Hockey Digital. For more information or help with season pass, join the Discord. Tyler, what's going on, man?
How you doing? I appreciate you having me on this. Very excited.
Yeah, I'm appreciative that you're coming on. It's great to have you on. You should be our first non-active FPHL guest.
Oh man, yeah. I know. What am I going on? 2 years almost now? It's crazy.
Is it that long? That is nuts.
Just about.
That's crazy.
Well, pop up on the social media. It's like 2 years, 3 years ago. I'm like, oh my god.
That's crazy. That's nuts. Well, how's retired life?
It's good. I mean, I have no complaints. I mean, I did it for a long time, so I mean, obviously, there's times here and there where you miss it, but I mean, all the travel and all that takes a toll on you. The retired life's great. Working a sales job in commercial insurance, it's an absolute blast. Couldn't think anything better for myself afterwards. Stay in touch with a couple guys here and there, follow the league, and what's going on. Yeah, for sure. You still, I'm assuming, stay in touch with good majority of the guys. I wouldn't say a majority. Definitely, the guys I played with for years and years, Glenn Patterson and Yartwood, who are living the life together, coaching the junior team in Elmira.
Yeah, Elmira, right?
And, the normal guys, the Yates here and there, Gavin Yates and Powell, stuff like that. Just stay in touch a little bit as best I can. A couple of the guys who I don't really know, sometimes message on Instagram or whatever it be, but it's definitely fun, obviously, to see how the league's going.
Yeah, it's wild, right?
Yeah, it's a little different. I was actually talking to Mafoose about it. We haven't talked in a while, and the game has changed, we'll say, a little bit.
Yeah. Is there a particular team that you call home? Like, I know you've had, you played in a couple different spots for,
Yeah.
extended periods. You played in other spots for shorter times. Is there a particular team that you call home?
It's funny you say that because I was thinking, once you actually come on this kind of what was my favorite spot, and I honestly believe if that Elmira team didn't have COVID, the Elmira Enforcers, the year I got traded from Watertown, I think that team would be on like 4 or 5 championships right now. So
Yeah.
that was definitely the favorite spot. I'd probably say that's what I would consider home. Obviously, playing in Binghamton for a few years and then retiring there, and then them ending up winning. I mean, I don't know how I could call it home, just kind of based off that and how it went. But I mean, that Elmira team with Robbie owning it and Clarkey as the coach, and then Mafus as the coach. I think that was home for a lot of us, I'd say.
Yeah. All right, cool. Yeah. Now, and you're, to get there, like you had a little bit of an unusual path, right? Like, so you went right from the Buffalo Junior Sabres in the OJHL. Did you go right to San Diego? Was San Diego in the ECHL? Was that your first pro game?
Yeah. So I
Which
obviously played
that's
for.
crazy. Like, you never see that, guys going right from junior A
Yeah.
right to the ECHL.
Yeah, now with all the NIL stuff, I think if you look back, maybe do a little things differently. But I had Michael Pekka as my coach my last year junior, so I think
Okay.
he helped a lot of us. Obviously, me, I had the scholarship to the University of Maine that ended up not going to, and had the NHL camp in the summer there for the Sabres and the American League training camp. I think I learned pretty quickly, how pro hockey was going to be as a 20-year-old. Looking back on it, should I went to college? I don't know, maybe. I never really, I guess, had the aspirations to spend 4 years in school. I liked the idea of going to play pro, but yeah, those ECHL games were obviously my first games. It was a little different back then. I mean, the OJ was really good when I played. What was it in 2013? So I think that obviously it was a very difficult transition. But I think
Yeah.
if things were done a little differently on my end and the team I went to in the ECHL or SP, I think I probably would have started there and been there a little longer, I guess you could say. But everything changes. It's so different, and I didn't really have like an agent or anything. So I was just kind of going off what Michael Pekka could help me with. So, I mean, it was good. I mean, think it was definitely a good learning curve to start and really see the business side, I guess, if you could say, of professional hockey.
Yeah. And you went to NHL camp with the Sabres?
Yeah, the Buffalo Juniors, the development camp in the summer there. So it
Okay.
was basically right
Yeah.
after our OJ season. So that was
Yeah, right
obviously
after the
something.
NHL draft, they always have that, the
Yeah.
development camp.
So Michael Pekka got me set up with that, and then American League training camp, and so that, I mean, that was obviously fun. Who knows if I should have ended up going to school, even though I didn't end up going to Maine, but it ended up working out completely great. So I'm not going to complain or think about it, I guess you could
Yeah.
say.
That's all
Yeah,
that matters, right? Like,
exactly.
it works out in the end.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now you still hold the record for most goals scored in the FPHL, right? Do you have overall points too, or just most goals?
No,
I say just
definitely
as
not
if it's
points.
like,
Yeah, definitely not points. Like after I broke the goal record, I remember Mafus messaged me. He goes, "You can have the goals. You're never getting the penalty minutes," but he has the points too. And I think
he
I
has
think Matt Grant.
he has points too.
Yeah, and I think Matt Graham, if he's not ahead of me, is very close to second
Okay.
points, which he's like one of the greatest guys I've ever met. So I hope he keeps playing and gets as many points as possible. The goal record, I mean, like that was a blast. If someone breaks that, good for them. But like I kind of watch how these guys go over time. Like I give myself a little bit of credit for the consistency I had. But then I think about, like,
Yeah.
I had some like really good line mates, like playing with Gavin Yates for all those years definitely helped. And then I had those years in Elmira. There's these unbelievable players I played with. So if someone breaks that, good for them. I don't know if anybody could, you could score 40, 50 every year for how many years. And I don't know if guys want to do that anymore. Like,
Yeah, because
how
you're
many
what,
years I played. Yeah.
302, right?
I think in the Fed. Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's
Yeah, I think
around
it's
that.
302.
Yeah.
And I was with missing a COVID year, right?
Exactly. It was, yeah, the one COVID year got shut down.
Yeah.
And then the actual COVID year where we only played 20 games, and then there was only room for like 15. And then that last year I played in Binghamton, I got hurt and missed 6 weeks. So who
Yeah.
knows, whatever. And who knows if I would have even stopped playing. That injury obviously stunk, and I didn't want to go through that again.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I remember you broke it in Binghamton because I believe I was watching the game that you broke it in. So I remember it being in Binghamton, and that was the funniest thing in Binghamton that year because they were. I don't know if they still do it, but I remember, and you probably know, but they were doing the Burger King cheeseburger promotion,
Yeah, it
and
was like every 4 goals. Yeah,
yeah, and that team that first year was like built on its offense,
we
and it
scored
was literally
it
like
was 4
every
goals every
game was
period. Yeah,
cheeseburger.
yeah, we scored 4 every. I think that's why they started to get so many fans. I mean, now they sell out every game. And then that
Yeah,
second half of that 1 year I played there, the year I retired, they sold out every game. But yeah, I don't know if they still do. I'm guessing they do. If they do, I don't think that Binghamton team's gonna lose another game this year,
it's
from what
crazy.
I
It's crazy.
follow.
They're
So I
so
mean,
like
hey, good
yeah,
for
like
them. Like obviously Sherwood's doing an unbelievable job.
yeah,
Um,
it's nuts. I was looking at the standings this morning. I think they should be at like 50 points. I think the next closest to them is 33, which in this league there's the 3-point system, right? So it's a little bit
yeah.
closer than it appears, but like that's a pretty big gap.
Yeah, and I don't follow it close enough to know how good some of these teams are, but obviously you look at the roster, good. I think Athens is pretty good. I know Port Huron's really good, but I
Yeah,
don't
well,
know.
that's the thing. The division's pretty good. Like, people, some people, I don't want to say rag on the Empire division, but like there's definitely some sleepers in the Empire division. Like it's a good, like there's
Yeah,
good teams, and Binghamton's just like they're just rolling. And then I know
yeah,
there's probably about 3 teams that are fighting for that top spot in the Continental. You got Athens, as you mentioned, which holds it right now, then Monroe. I forget who's right behind Monroe, but there's like 3 teams all jockeying, they're all within a, handful of points of each other in the
yeah. No,
Continental.
it's good. I mean, it's definitely a good look on the league having the teams where they are and all that, and good players. I mean, I don't know who most of the players are at this point. Well, I know a couple guys on Watertown, Port Huron, and basically Gavin Yates on Binghamton. Besides that, I mean, it seems like a new group of guys coming through, which is good. I mean, Carolina still's got Gus Ford, but yeah, I mean, it's definitely cool to see the direction, I guess you could say, it's going.
Yeah, it's definitely going a new direction. Like so, like the beginning of this show, we did an episode on every team leading up to the season, every active team. We didn't do one on Motor City, which I would like to come back and do one on Motor City.
Okay.
But we did one on every active team leading up to the season, and that was kind of like the topic or the trend, I should say, is just this new direction. We were kind of joking around calling it, FPHL 2.0.
Yeah, pretty
And
much.
one of the trends has been the players, like where it's kind of like a new way of thinking with some of the coaches in terms of their recruiting and getting, making it more of a development based system as opposed to, like a boys club or whatnot. And
Right.
even some of the coaches have, they were saying like that they're implementing new things with, mandatory strength and conditioning sessions, and, the organization's hiring strength and conditioning coaches and just
Okay.
taking it to that next step, from where it's been in the past.
Yeah, no, that's obviously great. I know a lot of players in the league when the league first started, there was 16, or when I first started, and it was 6 teams, and you had the teams that had the boys clubs and as me and Cameron Yar would call it, the old dogs. The old guys were playing. I mean, we were young then, but then we got older.
Yeah.
And obviously, I guess you could say it was a little more laid back, but I mean, ultimately, I will stick to this forever. That time, I think it was in like 2018, 19, around COVID time is when the league was at its best with the 8, 10 teams. I think those were the best players, best teams.
Yeah.
Um, and then you see the SP guys now going to teams like Binghamton, Athens, and all that, which is good. I mean, I know they're getting paid a lot more now, um, which is good. I mean, it's good for the league. So I mean, they always wanted to compete with the SP, and now I see a lot of the players going right from the Fed to the ECHL. Like Sammy Bedard looks like he goes up and down from Topeka all the time. I think from what I'm seeing, the goalie
Yeah. I think
there.
where's he now? I think he's in Wichita right now, or the
Yes,
latest call up was
yeah,
Wichita.
yeah. He's going up and down. So seeing stuff like that's obviously really good because we were playing. We had these really good players come, and they would kind of be sad, upset every day. Oh, I want to get called up, all that stuff, and like they wanted to go to the SP, but they ultimately wanted to go to the ECHL, and now they're doing that, which is good.
Yeah, for sure. Like it's great to see that and you're going to see a lot more of that, especially as the league, expands. Because it's like what people don't realize too is a lot of the call ups, like a lot of it is, geography based too to some extent, right? Like you
Yeah,
need a guy that can physically get there to play. And that was,
exactly.
and that would normally, right? Because like I worked in the ECHL as a director of scouting for a team for about 2 years, right? And there'd be a situation like where it's like, okay, you need a call up, but it's like, yeah, you want the best available, but if the guy's halfway across the country, you can't get him there that night, right?
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
now with the FPHL moving more west, there's going to be more opportunity just because they're there, right?
Yeah,
Like, case in point with Wichita calling up Sammy, right? If Topeka doesn't exist and they're, and let's say Sammy's in Elmira with Robbie, he probably doesn't get the call up.
exactly. Exactly. So that's nice. The teams being where they are, Louisiana, and Topeka. What did they just put the one in Minnesota? I think.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Yep.
So
Yeah.
stuff like
One
that. I mean,
going
that's
into
great.
Minnesota for next year.
Yeah. So it's awesome. I mean, it's really good to see. So I'm glad. It sucks that some of us couldn't experience kind of all this and all the cool trips we'd probably go on, but it is what it is.
Yeah, it's ever evolving. I'm
Yeah.
excited to see. I mean, let me know what you think it is. Like and I've said this for a long time. I believe that this league, can go coast to coast one day. Like I really think it can.
I,
You agree
I'm
with
I'm
that?
guess I'm guessing that's what they're trying to do because I know they want teams in Texas. I know the one guy I play with, JT Walters, is from San Diego. He's been saying put a team in San Diego for years. So I mean, probably if it's in Minnesota, like, why not? You might as well. It's just a matter of how they want to do the travel.
Yeah, and like
I know,
there's
yeah, I know teams take planes now to the long trips,
yeah,
which is good, obviously. So they can make it work. That's awesome. They
yeah,
definitely need to keep paying the players more though if they're going to do stuff like that.
yeah. I mean, I think a California division, could work. I mean, because theoretically, like you need four, right? If you get four to come
Yeah,
in, even if they're all kind of off the footprint, you create a pod and
exactly,
they play amongst themselves, like, not too different from what we see in junior hockey a lot of time. And
exactly.
even in pro hockey, I mean, everybody doesn't typically play everybody.
But as we know, the Fed, they do things without a plan. So as long as they have a plan when they're expanding out there, that would be okay then.
Yeah. And I think they've tightened up in that area a lot over the last couple of years.
Yeah,
I think everything has been a lot more, meticulously planned. I still think chances are taken. And I think you
yeah,
kind of have to, like, anytime you're pushing the
sure,
boundaries of anything, you're
sure.
gonna, maybe have to take some chances, and every once in a while, some are gonna come back to bite you. But
Yeah, exactly.
it's kind of like just the nature of the beast. Like anytime, I mean, like look, like they're covering more area than any single A league has ever had, I believe.
Yeah, it's amazing. It really is.
Like
It's awesome.
yeah, it's cool to see what they've done. What's the thing that you miss most about all this?
I mean, it's hard to say. I was thinking about that too. I mean, I didn't like the travel, but the road trips obviously are a blast. That's when you bond with your team, I guess you could
Yeah,
say, and the friends you make. And I played with so many guys for so long that we like have routines basically on road trips and stuff like that. Obviously, don't miss the practicing and all that stuff. That's the stuff that just takes a toll on you day after day after day. The bumps, the bruises, injuries, whatever. I mean, the road trips are great. I'd say I got lucky with playing with a lot of those good defensemen, those power plays. Like that was a blast. Like my profile picture on Facebook, Instagram, still that one power play we had in Binghamton, like stuff like that. It was so fun to play with a lot of those guys. But I guess just playing games in general, just the actual game aspect of it was
yeah,
obviously you're going to miss that as
yeah,
time goes on. I didn't miss it initially, and then kind of like we're getting a couple years removed now. You start missing it, but not gonna definitely not gonna return to that lifestyle.
yeah. It's a phase of your life, and you move on to the
Yeah,
next the next stage.
exactly.
I got to ask you, because I've been wondering this for a long time, and now that I got you here, I'm going to ask you: how did you develop the comfort and desire to have that knob on your stick? That's got to be the biggest knob I've ever
Uh,
seen. And I'm not knocking it because it scored a lot of goals. But you can kill somebody with that.
It really didn't even get noticed till Binghamton because they had the big clear jumbotron. And then like I have sticks from the past, like in garages and stuff, and the knob was not even a fourth of that. So I don't know what happened when it happened. I guess it was just the comfort, the comfort thing. Because if it was too small, you would always notice. It would obviously never be too big, but if it was too small, like, I don't know. I have no clue. It was just
I'm not knocking it. Like I said, that knob scored more goals than any other stick.
People always ask. I don't really have an answer. It's just comfort, I guess. Like I tried one time when I was like 16 to not use knobs, and I felt like I had no equipment on. It was a disaster. Okay. So comfort and not ever having to make that thing again definitely has made my life a little easier. Because that was a whole week project. If I got a batch of sticks or a stick or two, I would have to start that on Monday for it to show up to the game that weekend. It was just too much.
And all tape, or did you put something inside it? Or
tape? All tape. And I would always have sticks I use for practice, and obviously the ones set aside for the game. And I would take my time making. It was just a disaster. Too much going on.
I love it. Well, that's awesome. Anything that you want to end off with, say to any of the fans or to anybody, the league, anybody?
I don't even know who the fans are anymore. To the league, obviously, amazing job. Like, I only know so many guys in that league. Like I said, the guys in Carolina and all that, but I mean, they're doing a great job. Guys like Johnny Ruiz, Stone, Danbury, basically keeping those guys not relevant, but still going in the right direction. And I'm sure he's teaching all these younger guys how to really, be a big part of the league. And, Watertown coaching and Kyle Powell there and a lot of my good friends. So, yeah, I mean, it's awesome. But like I said, the fans, I don't know if they change or what, but, the ones in Elmira and Binghamton were obviously fantastic. So, stuff like that will be missed. But, yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Well, hey, thank you again for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate it too. This is awesome.
Yeah, no, thank you very much, Tyler.
Of course, thanks.
I'll see you. And there you have it. Remember, the conversation continues in the Discord. The link will be in the description of this episode. So you can join the Discord via the link. You'll select your path and look to see you in there. Until next time, I'll see you guys later.
Thank you for being the best part of this episode of FPHL Beyond the Glass by Swan Hockey. We will see you soon.